Pacifico is brewed for those who follow their own path. That's living life anchors up.
Hey, Lister, I've been hearing all this talk about how prices on vehicles are through the roof, inventory's low, interest rates are high, and the games other dealers are playing are just out of control. A lot of people are scared to even go look for a new vehicle.
Jack, I've been hearing the same exact thing. So I've been thinking, down here at Kiple, let's go back to what made us the #1 dealership in Oklahoma for decades. I'm thinking starting September 1st, we price all of our trucks and SUVs at invoice, minus the rebates. That way we are helping people get the best deal right off the bat, without playing all the games the other dealers are playing.
That sounds like a game changer. Do we have enough inventory to sell our vehicles so cheap?
Yes, sir, we do. There are plenty to choose from and more on the way. And we've been getting some really good interest rates lately for our customers.
So we've got the high prices figured out with invoice minus rebates, inventory on hand, and interest rates not driving up customers' payments. There is absolutely no reason someone shouldn't get their dream vehicle from us.
Yep, and Kiple is the place to get them. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
In the age of internet and all things fast-moving, it's hard to find people you can trust. When it comes to your home or business electrical systems, don't settle for anything but the best. Wade Electric has been serving Oklahoma since 1969 and will gladly address your electrical needs with diligence and professionalism. They specialize in service upgrades, exterior and accent lighting, power automation and controls, shop and outbuilding wiring, LED conversions, and more. Go with a name you can trust and call Wade Electric today at 405-329-1940.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Sooner fans, we've got you covered. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
No, we don't get a break.
This is the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
We had a new chapter of Oklahoma athletics that begun on July 1st, first official day in the SEC. We had a new chapter of OU football that I guess officially started last Saturday, first game ever, first SEC game ever. And I guess potentially we have a new chapter starting as well. At quarterback, Michael Hawkins has been named QB1 by head coach Brent Venables. And that's your hope moving forward now, right? I mean, it's still early in the season. That's only your first loss of the year. But you got 2/3 of the season left to go. I think we're all hoping that Michael Hawkins sticks at quarterback throughout the rest of the year and he takes this job and really runs with it. But here is something that I did not expect to be talking about heading into OU's first road game in the SEC. We've got a new quarterback on our hands, and he is a true freshman quarterback that this team is going to move forward with. Wow.
It's funny. I was thinking about this morning. I don't know why it took me so long to recall this, but I was having a conversation with a program source over the summer, and this particular source, I'm not going to name names because I don't know if they'd want their identity disclosed, but this particular individual said this and then reiterated it several times over the course of the summer. They said, you watch, Jackson Arnold is going to get his world rocked against Tennessee, and it will be Mike Hawkins' time. Talk about calling the shot, man.
That would have been a bold take in the offseason. Looking at bold takes for this season.
Gosh, you put pen to paper on that one. You instantly have credibility as a betting analyst, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, man, I think it's the place that OU needs to be right now. This is for the best. This is best case scenario, I think, moving forward, just given the circumstances.
It had to happen.
Obviously it had to happen given the way that Jackson Arnold was playing, but it's not just about Jackson Arnold playing poorly. It's also about what Michael Hawkins adds to this offense and what he's going to be capable of in the system that I think is pretty well suited to what he does well, and a system that's going to evolve now that the quarterback switch has taken place. I think you're going to see the offense start to change. I hope
so, man.
I think you're going to see him get away from some of the RPO stuff. I think you're going to see him get away from a lot of the RPO stuff, actually. And I think there's going to be an emphasis put on accentuating the things that Michael Hawkins does well, Tyler. And the thing that he does best, to me, just making quick decisions. Being decisive with the football, and delivering accurate throws.
He came in and he looked confident, man.
Yeah, he did look confident. He knows what he can and can't do. He knows what windows he can and cannot hit. He knows when he can and can't throw open a wide receiver. But I mentioned this last hour, to me, what Michael Hawkins does so well that this offense needs right now is just keep the ball moving forward. Keep the ball moving in a positive direction. If that means 4 yards on a hitch or 6 yards on a slant or just tucking the ball and running for 5 yards because there's no better option. Whatever Michael Hawkins does, it happens fast, Tyler.
And he's going to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes on Saturday. But I think this kind of goes back to Jackson Arnold as well. I think we all knew going into the season, like, all right, the O-line is a question mark, all right? He is a first-year starter. Mistakes are going to happen, and mistakes were made, but you're always going to be okay, at least I thought, you're always going to be okay with making aggressive mistakes, you know? Because gunslingers do make mistakes, but the mistakes that Jackson Arnold made weren't because he was being aggressive. They were just really poor decisions. In all three of those turnovers on Saturday, you just can't excuse him, man, especially after the defense gives you the ball the previous play. So Michael Hawkins will make mistakes, and he'll make a mistake on Saturday, I'm sure, but as long as he's being aggressive kind of throughout that, not that you love to have turnovers, but I just want to I want him to go out there and play aggressive because you haven't gotten kind of an aggressive mentality from the quarterback position the entire year.
There hasn't really been an aggressive mentality anywhere on
offense. Yeah, no, that's fair.
That is the underlying problem.
By the way, did you see what Joel Klatt said about just kind of the whole situation today? Now, before I read this to you, and I don't know if you've read it or not, and I know some out there probably haven't seen it.
If he said something else today, I have not read it yet.
So this is 10:25 this morning, and there's a word in particular that he used for the current RPO system. Now, Joe Klatt, I think pretty much all of us here know about Joe Klatt. He calls game for Fox Sports, kind of their lead college football guy. I would say that Joe Klatt is very fair. Are we all good with that? Joe Klatt has some takes. There's
Joe
strong
Klatt
takes.
knows ball.
Yeah, he knows ball. I think he's very fair. Here's what he said earlier this morning. With the news about OU football going with Michael Hawkins at quarterback, here are some thoughts about last Saturday. Hawkins looks very talented. Arnold made huge mistakes. And then listen to this. Part of Hawkins' success was game situation and the fact OU stopped trying to run their horrific RPO system. So that's a guy in Joe Klatt who knows ball, really good at his job, and I think very fair. When criticism is warranted, like he'll give criticism. I don't think that he necessarily always goes over the top with his criticism, so that's why it surprised me so much that he used the word horrific to describe OU's RPO system. I'm like, wow. Dang, if Joe Klatt's saying something like that, then okay.
Yeah,
so see him say that a lot.
Look, I'm not nearly as outspoken about it as someone like Teddy is, but I'm not a huge fan of the RPO Tyler, but
how could you be up to this point about how they're trying to
Well,
win?
and I've been okay with it in the past because it's worked. Right? Oklahoma has had good offenses built around RPO concepts and schemes. But here in 2024, Tyler, it is no longer working.
No, it's not for this offense anyway.
Absolutely
It's not what fits this offense best. And didn't Brent kind of hint at it today in the press conference? Like sometimes you just need to, not even have the just to freaking run the ball here. Just go run the ball downhill. And I think you have a guy right now in Javonte Barnes and Taylor Tatum as well that, not that your offensive line is performing great, kind of the exact opposite at this point. But I think if you just kind of get Javonte Barnes just running downhill, I think you could have a little bit more success in the run game if that's the case. But let's get to the text line, 405-651-3439. And this is kind of what I was just saying. Two-star Lost City Sooner says, per Brent, just hand the damn ball off. He kind of essentially said that today.
No, that's exactly what he said today. Tyler from Ada said, is it just me or did BV seem like a weight has been lifted? What do you think, Tyler? Is that the sense you got?
I mean, I think he was as critical of a side of the football as maybe I've seen him throughout his entire career at OU. I don't know if a weight has been lifted. I think that he and everyone else is, kind of feeling the pressure up to this point. I mean, that's how I read it. Did you or anyone else read it any differently?
I will say I kind of get what you're saying there, Tyler, from Ada. There was kind of that vibe. There wasn't like a strong, obvious, overwhelming vibe today, but it did feel like Brent was just in a way better place Saturday. Or I should say a way better place today than he was on Saturday. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he realizes as well as anybody that at this point you got the guy in the game that's going to give you a better chance to win games, and that's Michael Hawkins.
580, you guys act like Michael Hawkins solves all the problems we have and is going to be totally different with Hawkins under center. Same bum O-line, same tiny receivers, and same running backs who can't break a tackle. I don't remember saying that. In fact, multiple times yesterday I said, look, I think Michael Hawkins gives you a better chance to win right now. I would expect the offense to be better on Saturday because it can't get much worse than what it was on Saturday. But no, I still recognize and see all the issues this offense has. I don't think it's automatically fixed. I think it's better, but how much? What's that really saying at this point? All it has to do to be better is get the ball at the 5 and punch it in for a touchdown.
No, Mike Hawkins is not going to solve all of this offense's problems. But you know what else he's not going to do? Throw an interception into triple coverage, fumble the ball at the 5-yard line after you just got it on a gift from your defense, set you up with 1st and goal, and he's not going to throw a lateral that should not even have been thrown that results in a 3rd turnover. Again, this offense has issues that extend beyond Jackson Arnold, but if you watched Jackson Arnold on Saturday, all of the mistakes that he made were completely on him.
Yep, 100%. 479, texture from Arkansas. Never in my life have I seen an offense this bad. Too young to remember John Blake, but feeling cautiously hopeful we better win this weekend. Also, there's never been a worse time to live in SEC country, as everyone has said welcome to the SEC at work the last couple of days. I've heard that a lot as well. Welcome to the SEC. Hell, Oklahoma got its introduction into the SEC. And that's fine. Okay, we all knew that was coming. But here's what's sad is that offense, it's not like that offense works everywhere else but the SEC. The offense on Saturday isn't good in any conference in the country. That's not an SEC problem. That was an OU problem offensively on Saturday. By the way, I was looking earlier today, and there's already a good number, but how many true freshmen from the 2024 class are going to continue to see big-time opportunities on the field this year? So I was kind of going down the list here. Eddie Pierre-Louis?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think at any point this year?
I don't. No.
Okay.
I don't.
Reggie Powers, Devon Jordan, Michael Boganowski. He's in a loaded position group, but we've at least seen him so far.
Yeah, we saw him
to
last
this point.
week. He played some last week.
Daniel Akinkumi, probably not. Danny Okoye, maybe. We'll see. I mean,
I'd say no.
More likely next year, but we'll potentially down the road. Well, Nigel Smith, not as much. David Stone, yes. Eli Bowen, yes. Taylor Tatum, yes. Zion Reagans, yes. Jaden Jackson, Ivan Carrione, Zion Kearney, Jaden Hardy, Michael Hawkins. Like, can you remember another class where this immediately, so many true freshmen have already played, and we think that there's some others who could be added to that list by the end of the year?
And what's so funny is that back in December when all these guys signed, we were saying the exact opposite. Like, I really don't know how many of these guys play in year one, not because they're not good, but because OU is so deep at the positions that they play. And lo and behold, due to the injury bug biting very hard, especially in a few particular position groups, you got a lot of freshmen that are going to get pressed into action a lot earlier and a lot more frequently than anybody could have anticipated.
Like, there could be an offensive possession on Saturday where Hawkins is at quarterback, Tatum is at running back, and like Reagans and who else would you put out there? Reagans and maybe like a Kearney or at wide receiver.
I'd like to see more Kearney. I wouldn't mind that. And somebody on the text line asked, how is everybody so wrong about JFA? It's not really something you can explain. I mean, how do you explain it when a kid just goes completely mental? The most classic example of this is Steve Sachs. Older listeners are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. I think in some circles it's even referred to as Steve Sachs syndrome, where you just lose all the basic mechanics of the position that you play. Steve Sachs was a second baseman that lost the capacity to throw to first base. Jackson Arnold has just lost the capacity to do really the only things he's ever done as a quarterback, which is execute the RPO, make quick reads, fire the ball out there, and then pop off a nice deep ball every now and again. We've seen none of those things to this point in the year from him.
Yeah. Suitor287, Babalola watches game, says, yeah, I can fix that. In sympathy commits to OU. There's your recruiting strategy right now, huh? I do have something from Rivals coming up next segment on their prediction on Andrew Babalola. And,
oh, boy.
We'll get to that.
Gunny said, I got told welcome to the SEC from a damn Arkansas fan yesterday at work.
God, that's, yeah. Don't take no crap from Arkansas fans, okay? I mean, who are they to be talking? Seriously? They win one SEC game, and now they're talking. Rick Ankiel, Billy Bean syndrome. Chuck Knobloch, you could throw him into that category as well. There you go. Reno Goach threw that one in.
That's a good one. That's a good poll right there. Travis from California asked, has Arnold done any interviews since his benching? How has he handled it? Seems like a really good dude. He has not, and I would think that the program justifiably will keep him away from the media for quite a while. Quite a while.
Yeah.
If not the entire rest of the season.
And again, if Michael Hawkins ends up being the quarterback now until the rest of the year, then there's a chance that you may not hear from Jackson Arnold the remainder of the year. But if Hawkins struggles or they make a decision for whatever reason to bring him back this week and he plays well and he's a big part of the game, then you could talk to him as soon as Saturday potentially. But, yeah, it's Michael Hawkins' offense right now, and I am fascinated to see what's different about the offense. I'm fascinated to see if the offense is any better with him. I'm just very, very fascinated for what is a massive, massive football game on Saturday. Massive football game on Saturday. Because as we talked about yesterday, this is you have to win this game, man. If you want to salvage this year and have a season at the end of the year that you can say, all right, that was a good debut in the SEC, I don't think that you can achieve that by losing your first 2 SEC games. You are going to have to win on Saturday to create a path for yourself where we can call this a successful season, in my opinion. That doesn't mean if they win on Saturday, I think that they're going to the college football playoff, but at least you can go to the bye week as a, 4-1 football team and maybe feel good about yourself if you leave Jordan-Hare with the win. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. More OU football to get into. We'll get into some recruiting on the other side as well. Keep it locked on the Ref.
The Ref is SEC ready. Are you? Download the KRF app today to get ready for it to just mean more in 2024.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
The Sooners are SEC ready, and so is Balfour of Norman. Are you? Shop our selection of tees, polos, and hats that have the SEC logo on them. And even my new book, Put the Ponies in the Barn. Locally owned for more than 45 years, Balfour of Norman on Campus Corner is OU fans' go-to shop for Sooner gear. Not only will you find all the newest t-shirt designs, but also great polos, women's fashion tops, shorts, and even things for the youngest Sooner fan, starting at newborn and going through youth sizes. When it comes to hats, Balfour probably has the largest selection anywhere. They also have everything you need for tailgating and watch parties, from drinkware and serving pieces to barbecue tools and accessories. Make sure you have plenty of OU paper plates and napkins on hand, too. If it says OU, you will probably find it at Balfour. Come see us on the corner for all the newest gear, or shop online at crimsonproud.com, where you will find everything Sooner.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Children who've experienced abuse or neglect face a frightening, profound unknown. Courtrooms, foster care, new schools. No child should face these alone. Trained and supported court-appointed special advocates or CASA volunteers advocate in court on behalf of these children. They stay with each child until the case is closed and the child is in a safe, permanent home. Volunteers make a life-changing difference, but more children need our help. Lend your voice and change a child's story today. Learn how you can help right here in your community. Visit southcentralcasa.org.
If you're caring for someone with COPD, you probably have a lot of questions. Caregivers juggle many roles. The right resources can help. The COPD Caregivers Toolkit is a free resource that provides information about COPD to help you prepare for doctor visits, support a healthy home, and take care of yourself. Visit nhlbi.nih.gov/COPD-caregivers.
Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno bringing this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Dorsey Jones is family owned and operated, established in 2020, but many of their employees have been there for more than 20 years. They sell Buicks and GMCs, which are some of the best trucks and SUVs on the road. That's Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. For all of you going to Auburn on Saturday, we are going to be at the Hayfields lots before and after the game. So going to Jordan-Hare for the game. The Hayfields lot is where we'll be hanging out at. Travis and I will be doing our post-game show live from there. Heath in Atlanta is really hooking us up with the spot there. I believe he is bringing his RV out to Auburn, Alabama. So the Hayfields lot is where you can find us before and after. So hope you'll come by and see us and hang out before and after the football game on Saturday. Though I am worried that I'm even going to be able to make it to the game on Saturday. Jesse Crittenden and I were talking before the show. He popped by the studio, and we are on the same flight to Atlanta, and we're starting to become nervous that flight is going to arrive on time on Friday morning. Fingers crossed. The hurricane is coming right for Atlanta on Friday morning, it seems.
Okay, but Atlanta's how far inland now?
I mean, a decent ways, but I don't know how much it would take to get a flight delayed or pushed back later in the day. I don't.
And this, folks, is
not
why
SEC
you drive.
ready when it comes to hurricanes.
This is why you drive.
You maybe
road trip squad all the way.
Maybe the flight will be just fine and it'll be amazing. And I'll be back home before 10 a.m. on Sunday. That would be sweet, but we'll see if it happens.
You're going to stop at Bojangles?
I don't know. I got to drive from Atlanta to Auburn. I'm guessing that there's probably one on the way.
There'll probably be multiple on the way.
Probably about every few miles or so.
I'm telling you, man, Bojangles sweet tea is the tea that converted me to tea.
I didn't need Bojangles to convert me to tea.
Well,
I did it all on my
grew up
own.
in Oklahoma, though.
Did it all on my own. Okay, Andrew Babalola, 4-star offensive lineman. Still waiting on him to make a decision. Top 70 player nationally. But there is not like a future cast, but there's just an article of here's where I ultimately think these uncommitted prospects in 2025 will end up.
Let me guess, still Michigan?
Still Michigan, yeah. Decision mode continues for the 4-star tackle from Overland Park, and it's basically down to Michigan and Stanford. There seems to be some pushing the outstanding academic/athletic mix out west, but Michigan is also a prestigious academic institution and plays a higher level of football, so the Wolverines could be the happy medium of both. Babalola isn't talking much, so it's hard to tell.
And again, I disagree with the assessment that it's Michigan-Stanford. I believe it's Michigan-Oklahoma. Where does he end up between the two? I don't know. But I have spoken with several sources close to this recruitment that are very confident that, A, he's not going to Stanford, and that, B, it's very much an unsettled situation right now between Michigan and Oklahoma as to who lands the kid. So I can't make any promises, but OU's still fighting the good fight with that kid. And however long it takes, man, they'll ride it out.
Still no decision from Elijah Melendez. I mean, it was, 3-4 weeks ago when he decommitted? He's going to Auburn.
He committed to Auburn.
Did he end up committing to Auburn? When did I miss that? What was the date that he actually committed on?
A couple weekends ago.
Okay. Maybe he made it back. Maybe he made it back this past weekend or something. I was thinking that, what? Did he not? Did he finally commit? So that's why it's hard to talk a whole lot about 2025 recruiting right now for OU in terms of what's to come. But is OU in on Babalola? Yeah, but is Michigan the favorite? It sure feels that way. Christian Jones has committed to Nebraska. Elijah Melendez is off the board. At this point, it's just kind of seeing – what new offers are they going to make? Because do we know if Trent Wilson is even going to give OU the time of day now?
You mean Boucard?
Floyd Boucard, sorry. Is he going to give OU the time of day now? Or is he just going to say, I'm going to Miami?
It doesn't really seem like it. And more clarity I got on that one suggested that Boucard kind of surprised OU with his decision to decommit.
Yeah.
He just woke up one day and decided, I'm out. So it is what it is. Live and learn. Move on. But, yeah, I wouldn't count on Floyd Boucard to end up back in the fold. Gunny of Stutzman Army on the text line asked, how do I get in on the road trip squad, Parker? Well, Gunny, we don't hotbox on road trips. So if that is a roadblock for you, then we may have to –
I think it would be a roadblock for Gunny. Just, I think I know Gunny well enough. That would be an issue. You guys would have to stop on the side of the road for a smoke break, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we may have to engage in some good faith negotiations to reach an agreement, Gunny.
Okay, from the state of California, if you think you saw the SEC RV game with Tennessee, wait until you see the parking lot at Auburn. You can walk amongst the opposing fans on Friday, and everyone will be nice. Offer you a beverage or food. Enjoy it while you can. I've only been around Auburn fans one time, and it was the OU Auburn Sugar Bowl, the last time you played Auburn. I thought Auburn fans were really cool. Thought they were nice, friendly. So I'm expecting to be this is like famous last words probably, but I'm kind of expecting to be treated well this weekend. Hopefully that is correct. Hopefully I do not regret saying those words. But my one run-in with Auburn fans was overwhelmingly positive last time it happened. KW the 918 says, Tyler, if you can't find a way to make it, that's further proof you're like our offense. You're just not SEC ready. I'm going to do my best, KW. Hopefully the flight can get there. And if I can't get there, I don't know if Jesse Crittenden is getting there either, since it sounds like we're on the same flights. Zach says, I think this Auburn game is the perfect time for a quarterback change. Well, I mean, again, I don't think that there was a decision to be made after last Saturday. You had to make that decision. But if you want to take it a step further, and this is maybe a more hopeful outlook on things, it's not always a bad thing for a team to kind of get away from its home field. I think there's a lot of good that can come from going on the road, especially for the first time, hostile environment, coming away with your biggest win of the year, and hopefully that can change the momentum and confidence that you seemingly don't have on the offensive side right now. So going on the road and winning, like, maybe that's what's best for this team and what they need currently the most at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be a good test of their mettle. That's for certain. Chonky Chuck asks, what's the likelihood that we show up and stomp Auburn? Then he added a second question. How do we, the fan base, treat Jackson Arnold? He's not at all like Rattler, who refused to believe he was the issue. He knows he's playing poorly. I just feel awful for him, especially when he was being booed. Yeah, I think the best thing you can do right now is just give Jackson Arnold space. Let him.
You may need him again.
Yeah, you may need him again. That's very much within the realm of possibility.
I mean, as good as Caleb Williams was when he took over that job, Spencer Rattler came in again. Spencer Rattler came back in the same game that he was replaced in. Came in for that 2-point conversion throw that I think he hit, Drake Stoops on, maybe?
Drake Stoops, yes, indeed.
Which, I guess, same thing for Jackson Arnold the other night, by the way, and that's something we haven't talked about. That last touchdown, remember when they put Jackson Arnold back in to hand the ball off, I think, to Javonte Barnes for that touchdown? So it is not a 0% chance. It could be even a likely scenario that you see Jackson Arnold in a big spot again at some point this year. But maybe Michael Hawkins runs with it. We'll see.
Kind of along those same lines, Colin Brokenbow asked, serious question, should Casey Thompson be the backup quarterback?
I pondered that today as well. Like, if something were to happen, and I think it kind of depends maybe on the situation, but who's the quarterback that runs in the game if something were to happen?
I think it has to be Casey Thompson, because the best thing for Jackson Arnold right now, in my mind, is to just completely remove him from any on-field live game scenario for quite a while. Just let him collect himself. Let him come back to himself, if you will. Don't press him into action, because then with where he's at mentally, man, I can't say for certain that he's going to crumble, but I feel as though with where he's at mentally right now, you stick him in a situation like that, he's going to crumble. And so I don't know how long it takes for Jackson Arnold to get right again, but it's not something you can rush. And until then, you just kind of have to let it happen and do your very best to make sure that he doesn't have to get thrown back in the fire when he's very clearly not ready for it right now.
Chunky Chuck did ask, what did he say? What are the odds that OU goes down there and stomps Auburn?
High.
You think they stomp Auburn?
Yes, I do think they stomp Auburn.
I don't think that they stomp Auburn.
I think Auburn's a bad football team, Tyler.
Well, I think OU on offense is a bad football team right now.
And that is true, but I trust that the offense is going to be improved, and I just don't know with all of Auburn's offensive inefficiencies right now how they sustain drives against Oklahoma's defense in its current form.
Look, I think OU's got the better defense. I don't know. I'll be very happy to be wrong about that, but I'd be surprised if OU went out there and stomped Auburn on Saturday. What's the spread currently? OU minus 1.5. Over under is 45.5. So something around a 24-21 football game. That's what J.D. Piquel has, by the way, early week. OU 24, Auburn 21 in this game. So that's the first prediction I've seen this weekend. Piquel's got OU by a field goal.
I don't think is he counting on Auburn kicking 7 field goals? Because I don't think Auburn's scoring 3 touchdowns against Oklahoma.
I'd be surprised if that Auburn offense scored 3 touchdowns. They're going to have a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown or something for that. But OU plays anywhere close to what they did last week. They were good last week. They'll be even better against Auburn. 310, wear your ref shirts and interview the Auburn fans. They will be nice. Oh, wait. My Tulsa sorority sister is the head coach of the Auburn women's golf team, in case you want to talk to Melissa. All right, yeah, maybe we'll do some interviewing going on out there. Greg in Muskogee says Oklahoma 31, Auburn 3. So Greg thinks they're going to go out there and stomp them. 832, can you guys give me any reason why I should think the O-line can be better this week? I'm just completely exhausted with trying to figure out this offensive line. Here's what I got for you, is that maybe, like Brent said, sometimes you just run the damn ball.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just going to be better on the premise of, hey, forget the RPO crap. Just move someone back. Just bulldoze someone up front, right? And I don't know. That's what I got.
Communication issues are relatively easy to fix. In the realm of fixable issues, Tyler, you would much rather be dealing with an inability to communicate effectively than, okay, let's say you got 5 guys up front that are just getting manhandled on every single snap. I don't think OU has that. Now, they do have some guys that probably should, like, I don't think Heath Ozida should be out there. I don't. I think if Troy Everett is healthy, he needs to be your left guard. But OU has talent on the offensive line. They are not operating cohesively and in concert with one another as a unit. If you can fix that on the practice field, the offensive line play will improve. I don't know how much, but it will improve. They will play better.
Well, maybe Jacoby Johnson's just going to catch 3 touchdowns on Saturday. That's another fascinating element to this game. If you move someone from a defensive back position to wide receiver, like, okay, well, what does that look like? Well, Brent said last night he looked really good at wide receiver in practice, but how much is he in the immediate plans to play as soon as this week? And not that he's getting a ton of run right now on the defense, but if you move someone to wide receiver in the middle of the season, I would guess that there's a thought that, immediately you have plans for him to play. If not this week, but maybe in a couple weeks against Texas. I guess I would just be very surprised if we don't see Jacoby Johnson out there at least some at wide receiver in the next couple of weeks, maybe even including on Saturday. Like, you make that move during the middle of the season, then I think you got to plan on playing the guy.
Well, and you make that move, you have expectations, right? That's not a long-term move that you're making. It may be a long-term move, but it's also much more so a short-term move. You think he is going to be a plug-and-play fix for some of the issues that you're dealing with at wideout. A listener down in Texas said, I'll bet Parker a year subscription is paywall site that OU doesn't win by 10. Done. What are you giving me if I win? That's what I want to know.
I had a stake bet at the ranch on the table after yesterday. Glenn from Nashville bet me, was it 8 wins? I forgot what it is. Yeah, is it 8 wins? I think I got the under on 8 now, and he's got 8 or over. I think we got a stake bet on that right now.
Okay. Well, whoever that listener is.
Glenn from Nashville.
Yeah, a year-long subscription is worth, what, $99.95? $100? I'll give you odds. You buy me a burger meal at Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, and I will give you a year subscription. That's what's on the table. If OU wins by 10 or more, I win. If OU wins by less than 10 points, you win.
I made a mistake and guessed at the score last week. OU never does well when I do that or bet on them. I'm sorry. That is JR from Dale City. It's all good. And we all make the mistake. Chris from Knoxville, not crazy about their content, but listen to Crane and Company's rant on Auburn during their preview of this game. It was really out of left field, but they even think OU will take care of business. OU should take care of business against Auburn. Like, for as much as we are, not everyone, but as much as we're really complaining about the offensive side and really kind of panicking on where this team goes next, Cal beat this team. Arkansas beat this team. Arkansas beat them by double digits, right? 24-14. OU should go out to Auburn and take care of business. OU should go out to Auburn and win this game. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think that you can just roll out there with a similar performance like last week and just win this game. But OU should absolutely beat Auburn on Saturday. Again, on paper, and I'm not looking at like where the games are played, but on paper, this could be the worst SEC team you played this year. Zimmer, South Carolina.
Take the logo away for a second. Take the logo away. Let's say it's Washington State that's lost to Cal by a touchdown and lost to Arkansas by 10. What are you thinking going into a matchup with Washington State right now?
Oh, out in the Palouse out there? In way out eastern Washington, I'm probably still nervous at this point.
Well, if you look at that resume, okay, they lost to Cal by a touchdown, they lost to Arkansas by 10 points, and it's not Auburn that you're talking about. If it's like Washington State, you're thinking, oh, we're going to throttle those guys, and we should.
You should go beat Auburn. We'll see if it happens. Spread's got it 1.5 right now, over under a 45.5. So. Thinking this game is going to be in the low 20s is kind of where the over-under's at this point. But, yeah, if OU goes on the road, first true road game or first road game of the year, and pummels Auburn, no one will say it's some great win, but maybe this is a weekend and maybe this is a game that can really give this team some momentum because they need some momentum and they need some confidence at this point for sure. All right, final segment of Locked In coming up next right here at the Ref.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is the Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
When you're sick, you need to be seen by a health professional today, not next week. Norman Regional Urgent Care is here for you from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Open 7 days a week at Porter Health Village in Norman and Monday through Friday in Westmore. Our Goldby Clinic is opening soon, so we can care for you wherever you are. No appointment needed, just walk right in. Whether it's a sudden illness or a minor injury, Norman Regional Urgent Care is ready to get you back on your feet today, not next week.
The fun never stops at Riverwind.
The hottest entertainment.
And the best rewards program in the metro.
Visit us every Friday in September for a Sunset Showdown. Play with your wild card to win your share of $80,000.
Your next big win is at Riverwind Casino.
Oh my nosh, how good is that food? Come taste the talk of the town at Nosh in Moore and enjoy a meal from their all-day brunch and lunch menu on Tuesday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. or Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. From tea parties to birthday and holiday parties, Nosh has something for everyone. Call 405-676-6674 to cater your next game day party, business event, or visit their website at noshinmore.com.
This is Peggy Doviak, and I opened DM Wealth Management because of a horrible experience that my mother had with a stockbroker. I wanted to give people an alternative, a place they could go to understand their money, to know why investment decisions were made the way they were, and to create a financial plan that would help them meet their goals. Most of all, I wanted to help them plan their prosperity. Call me at 405-329-8884 or dmwealth.com.
At Primrose Funeral Service, we have been compassionately serving families for over 80 years. Do your loved ones a favor by pre-planning your funeral and cemetery arrangements. With pre-planning, Primrose can help eliminate the difficult decisions at a difficult time, because nobody should plan for a loss at the same time they are experiencing one. Our sincere commitment is to make things a little easier for you and your family. So contact Primrose Funeral Service at 405-321-6000 or visit them online at primrosefuneralservice.com.
Hey Sooner fans, Kinsey Hansen here to tell you about my friends at the Affordable Door Company. Their fast, reliable, and professional staff have been serving the OKC Metro for over 28 years. Affordable Door Company is your one-stop shop for residential and commercial garage door service and replacement. Call them and tell them you want the ultimate maintenance for your garage door. You don't want to be stuck in your garage at game time, so give them a call at 405-635-9499 or visit them online at affordabledoor.net. You can't afford not to call Affordable Door Company, proud garage door sponsor of the Sooners.
If you're caring for someone with COPD, you probably have a lot of questions. Caregivers juggle many roles. The right resources can help. The COPD Caregivers Toolkit is a free resource that provides information about COPD to help you prepare for doctor visits, support a healthy home, and take care of yourself. Visit nhlbi.nih.gov/COPD-caregivers.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Final segment. Locked in with McComas and Thune, live on the ref for the Houma Sooner fans. What's been the reaction that you've seen? Because I've seen it pretty mixed on what Brent Venables said about the Dillon Gabriel situation and how that unfolded. I've seen a lot of, that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened at all. Read between the lines a little bit. This isn't how it happened. And, okay, yeah, I'll take Brent Venables' word at it. I feel like we're pretty split here. I don't know if it's amongst the fan base or not, maybe just college football fans, but I don't. That was an interesting comment that he brought himself today, and I guess I don't know why he would just willingly bring that up himself and lie about how he recounted the situation as it was earlier today. Maybe I'm off on that, but I don't know why Brent Venables would just willingly lie about that whole situation after the fact now at a press conference today when nobody asked him about it.
Yeah, if you're bringing that up, you want to bring actual clarity to the matter. And I get that that's maybe something that got dragged back into the news cycle to some extent with the quarterback controversy, if you can really call it that, this past weekend. But, yeah, look, it was an amicable parting of ways between Dillon Gabriel and OU. Do I feel that if OU had made a legitimate effort to step up to the plate and make it worth his while to stick around, that he would have done so? Yes, but the decision at the time made sense for all involved.
Nick and Sepulpa is really telling us to look at the Pac-12 news. Okay, I'll try to find exactly what the Pac-12 news.
The Pac-12 news?
Did they get turned down by someone else currently? I have not seen any Pac-12 news. If anyone has the Pac-12 news, let us know. But that was a lot of emojis there for the check out the Pac-12 news. So I thought something major was happening, but I'm not seeing anything right now. 405, I don't think he lied at all. I just don't think he pursued him after he said he was leaving. Well, I mean, apparently what Brent said today is that Dillon Gabriel came into his office, and it sounded like it was before the bowl game, told him he was opting out of the bowl game and essentially playing another year of college football, and that next year of college football was not going to be at OU. We'll play the full sound clip coming up next hour, but
and look, Jeff Lebby and Brent Venables both repeatedly stated throughout the season. Well, I should say they didn't state that Dillon Gabriel was done as Oklahoma's starter at the end of the 2023 campaign, but in so many words they expressed, our expectation is Dillon Gabriel is done after the end of the 2023 campaign because they all thought he was going to the NFL, which was a reasonable assumption at that point.
Yeah. Pac-12 has filed a lawsuit against the Mountain West in federal court over millions in penalty fees.
Oh, gosh.
But the Mountain West Conference believes it is owed. So, hey, nothing like a Pac-12 Mountain West battle in courts. I'm sure that'll be entertaining for all of us to watch from the sidelines. 50-year-old mistake. Is it just me, or do you guys also feel like Arnold is written off by the fan base woefully too fast? I'm sure by some he's being written off, but again, I'd say I caution everybody on that because I absolutely think that there's a chance that Jackson Arnold could not only start another game this year, but definitely play more meaningful snaps in the next couple of weeks. Because it's not a guarantee. I think this offense is better right now with Michael Hawkins. That's what I think. Now, at the same time, if the offensive line isn't a lot better, if the system isn't a lot better, and everything else around him isn't better, then he's going to have a difficult time consistently as well, right? This does not immediately fix everything. I think there's a chance that Jackson Arnold could start at some point this year. I don't know if that's best case scenario. Best case scenario is probably for Michael Hawkins to turn this offense into something that it hasn't looked like all year long and really run with this thing. But there's a chance that we see Jackson Arnold again. I'm not going to be shocked if that's the case.
Jesse in Iowa asks, do we see Peyton Bowen more at Cheetah with Dolby out? What about Sammy O playing more at will alongside Danny? Also, prediction OU 34, Auburn 17. I think you will see a lot more of Sammy Omosigho at Cheetah. And I am down for more Samuel Masigo at Cheetah.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole depth thing that really matters because the Cheetah is such an important spot in this defense, and Samuel Omasigo, getting some reps so far early in this season and looking as good of a player as he's looked like. It sucks losing Kendall Dolby. They are not a better defense without Kendall Dolby, but at least you've seen some real promise from Samuel Omasigo, and I bet that he's operating with a lot of confidence right now out there at that Cheetah spot. But that is a critical spot in this defense, and that's big time that he's played at such a high level so far this year. And Lewis Carter as well. I know it's not at Cheetah, but you know what I mean right there is, there's a lot of young guys getting their first big action that have looked really, really good, real good.
Kyle in Broken Bow says, I wish Venables would go back to a visor like he wore back in the day. He looks way more pissed that way.
He did get the visor from Bob Stoops there at the Alamo Bowl.
He did.
Right after he got the
has
the
anybody
job.
talked about I was sitting there kind of halfway wondering if Brent was going to get a question about this today, but he had mentioned in his introductory press conference at Oklahoma that at one point he had turned down the head coaching job at Auburn.
Yep.
This is a job he could have had if he had wanted it.
I don't blame him for turning down the Auburn job.
No, I don't. Because
you can do something incredible like win a national championship or take them to a national championship game, and they'll turn on you in like the next 18 months or something.
Oh, yes, here you go. 214 listener down in Texas says, Trammell wrote an article in the Tulsa World, sort of implied, you chose Jackson over Dillon. And again, I think to an extent that is true. If Venables wasn't okay with moving from Dillon Gabriel to Jackson Arnold, if he wasn't okay with that baton getting passed, if Dillon Gabriel walks in his office and says, hey, I'm leaving, you're doing anything you possibly can to keep him around, right? You're not just throwing your hands up saying, oh, shucks, and letting it be. No, I think there was a comfort level in transitioning from Dillon Gabriel to Jackson Arnold, and that was fair at the time. Again, we don't have the benefit of hindsight. Brent Venables did not have the benefit of hindsight at the time. He could not have foreseen that Jackson Arnold, 4 games into the 2024 campaign, would be all the way up in his own head.
By the way, a update on the rankings in the 2025 class. I don't feel like things have really changed all that much. Ohio State is still at 1, Bama at 2, LSU at 3, Auburn at 4, Texas at 5, Georgia at 6, Tennessee at 7, Oklahoma at number 8, followed by Miami at 9 and Notre Dame at 10. So still 7 of the top 8 schools reside in the SEC. Only top 8 school not from the SEC. Actually, it's the number 1 overall class. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes. So OU still in the top 8 as of right now. And it helps that Cortez Mills visited this past weekend. That he made it back to campus. That's for sure.
It does, and I think what Cortez Mills saw is that, I can play here very early. They're going to need me to play here very early. Sam and Edmond says, please tell Parker to stop covering for that terrible Trammell story. Listen, I'm not trying to cover for any story or anyone. I'm just saying I think there probably is an element of truth in the implication that OU chose Jackson over Dillon. Again, I think that's true to an extent. I would not slap the absolute truth label on that, but there is certainly a little bit of truth contained in there.
Big Rich in OKC in all caps says, remind me, was Dillon Gabriel Baker Mayfield?
No, Dillon Gabriel was not Baker Mayfield.
I don't think they threw with the same arm. They had a different jersey number. No, I don't think. And maybe that's your point, Big Rich in OKC, but I do not believe Dillon Gabriel was indeed Baker Mayfield.
We finally got a Trey Dissident text that
Trey?
I agree with. Finally got one that I agree with. He said Hawkins will be better than DG ever was. I agree. Because Hawkins' ceiling is infinitely higher.
We do have to remember, Dillon Gabriel, I'm not saying I disagree with that, and I do think the ceiling is higher, but Dillon Gabriel pretty dadgum good last year. He's an all-conference quarterback.
He was amazing.
All Big 12 quarterback.
He was amazing. And I defended Gabriel ruthlessly and will always do so. The 2 years that he spent at OU as the starting quarterback were crucial. He did his job and did it well, and led with dignity, did everything you could possibly expect a starting quarterback to do, both on and off the field. That said, we all understand what Dillon Gabriel was. He was a high-floor quarterback, and he was a low-ceiling quarterback. Michael Hawkins is one of those rare guys that, in my mind, has both a high floor and a high ceiling.
By the way, you offended a former Washington State football player last segment.
Oh, I did.
So I hope you're happy with yourself on that. I didn't know that a former Washington State football player listened to this show.
Is that Kevin Sperry Sr.?
I don't know. He's got a 405 number. If so, it was, as a former Washington State football player, this is offensive. When you said, remove the logo from Auburn. Pretend this is Washington State that lost to Cal and Arkansas at home. What are your thoughts now? Someone listening, a former Washington State football player, got offended. By the way, also speaking of Washington State, I know you'll love this. Jerry Palm's updated bowl projections for this week. OU and Wazoo in the Las Vegas Bowl on December 27th. Hey, OU in Vegas taking on Washington State 2 days after Christmas. That's at least one current bowl projection that's out there. Hopefully they can not be playing in Las Vegas 2 days after Christmas later on in the year. 432 Parker Tyler. Many fans here are listening too much to national media coverage of what happened with DG. I believe you two before the national media. I'm just going off of what Brent Venables said today. I'm just really repeating what he said this afternoon. Now I'm sure that Dillon Gabriel will be asked about it later this week when he has media availability. I'm sure that'll be the case. We'll see what he says. Drew from Flower Mound. Tyler, you broke the news on Keeley Parks having OU official before On3 did. Any news to share with us on how that went?
Look at that. Hoops scoop guy, Tyler
Yeah,
McComas.
The visit went very, very well. OU women's basketball, they really want Keeley Parks. They've told her that, hey, we will really feature you in this offense, let you really do some things, and I would imagine that she's priority number one in their recruiting class. But she can ball, man. She can ball. Just hopefully she wants to stay in state. Hopefully that's the case. Cherokee Sooner says he's got a rematch with Florida State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. You think we can get Gunny to dress up as like one of those Pop-Tarts out there?
Then it becomes the THC Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah. Headed to Auburn this weekend. Is there a designated OU section in the stadium? Yes, there is. I've been researching this week. I forget which side of the stadium it's on, but essentially, like, there is a corner of the end zone that's designated for OU fans, and I feel like at the upper decks on each side, maybe the corners of each upper decks. But just Google where visiting fans sit in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and they tell you that. But there's a few places throughout the stadium where that's the case. And it's an orange out on Saturday, by the way. Can't get away from that god-awful color. An orange out Saturday at Auburn. No thanks. The Rush is coming up next. Keep it locked on the Ref. We're the home of Sooner fans.